Welcome back to FHIR and 5. I hope you're really enjoying this series as much as I am providing it for you. We're up to the letter M today, and for M I thought we'd cover messaging. It comes up a little bit when I talk to people that have done HL7 V2 messaging previously and they're trying to learn FHIR. They're kind of drawn to that event-based pattern, and I thought this would be a great topic to cover in this series. So messaging and FHIR. Certainly follow the hyperlink that's listed on the screen here to find out more detail of how you can use messaging in your particular implementation. Just some key call outs. So yes, if you've got a background in HL7 V2 messaging, you're used to the way that messaging works. You know, it's events notifying one application that some event has occurred from within another. So typical scenarios are a patient administration system. When a patient gets admitted, an event is triggered from within the PAS and then sent outbound to other systems that may want to be notified of that particular event. It's really useful for those event-based patterns where we're wanting to inform of changes of state. So if we think about the way that FHIR works, we normally get a document, a FHIR resource that contains the current state of our particular resource. We're not getting the individual state changes along the way. Yes, we can do that with the history of a resource over time, but we may want to process messages or events within our system. So one action might be that we want to notify the FHIR server when we want to merge two patients together. So we could post or do a put on the patient resource and inform them that there's a link between one patient and the other. But if we wanted to tell the FHIR server to merge these two patients, which would do a few things, it might update the patient with the links so that those two patients were merged together, but it might also do something with the activity that relates to both of those patients so that's correctly reflected throughout the FHIR server. So depending on what you're wanting to do with messaging, you might find a supported method there that you can use. So HL7 V2 was event-based and is strongly event-based. FHIR does support events, and we'll talk about how those events or messaging can happen in this video. But it also supports documents. So if you're used to seeing a HL7 clinical document architecture or CDA document, you're expecting to certainly see that when we're passing things like referrals or discharge summaries around, but also FHIR is able to support those particular types of documents, the messages, but also the RESTful interactions that we have. So being able to put, post, patch, update a particular resource is supported within FHIR. If a FHIR server supports a messaging pattern, it'll be listed in the capability statement. Not all FHIR servers do, and depending on your implementation, you may or may not have access to messaging. So it can be supported as well as the RESTful patterns. Both synchronous and asynchronous patterns can be supported, and certainly the documentation that link above describes the patterns for synchronous and asynchronous connectivity. So how does messaging work inside the FHIR server and communication to a FHIR server that supports messaging? It's pretty straightforward. You send a post to the bundle endpoint, so the bundle endpoint on that particular FHIR server with the message that you want to communicate. It contains, in the very first entry, it'll contain a message header resource, and the other resources that you're wanting to create as part of this message are then attached into this bundle. The type of the bundle is a message, so it's saying what it's going to do from the FHIR service perspective. And what you get back is one or more responses back from the FHIR server It'll contain a link to the operation outcome, whether that particular action was successful or not. So you're able to see that the outcome of your particular message on that FHIR server. So in the case of the merge, was that action successful or not? There might be some further details about what actions were taken as part of that merge process in that particular scenario. So like I've said, not all FHIR servers support the messaging pattern, and you certainly want to have a look at that capability statement on the FHIR server that you're using for your implementation to see if it's supported. If it's there, it'll be in the capability statement. You can use messaging if it is supported in that list, and certainly it might be a good little stepping stone from traditional HL7 V2 messaging into FHIR-based communication. If you want to start that way, it's a nice, easy transition. Or you can jump straight to RESTful APIs, or you can have a hybrid between the messaging-based patterns and the RESTful APIs. And there's reasons why you might want to do that along the way. So have a look at this part of the standard. As I say, it's not something that's commonly used, but if you've got an implementation that can do with event-based notifications, this might be the approach that you can take. Other options in this space include subscription resource, subscription topic, and certainly I'd look at those as well if you're thinking about being notified or being made aware of certain events.